Hello folks, and welcome back to Sew Off I Sew, or welcome if you're new. My name's Jess and this is my channel all about sewing, dressmaking and all things stitch related. And the eagle-eyed amongst you might have noticed I've had a bit of a change. I've dyed my hair dark. I just fancied it really. I change my hair quite regularly and I've been blonde for nearly 2 years. So, you know, I felt like also bleaching is not great for your hair. So as much and as fun as I enjoyed being blonde, it was really fun, but it's not great for your hair. So I'm going to spend a couple of years getting it back to condition, growing it much longer. But yeah, I'm a sort of dark brown at the moment and I'm feeling it. It's a vibe. So the hair digression over. Today we're going to talk about winter wardrobes, particularly my trip to my trip to Prague, where I got to test out some elements of my Me Made wardrobe in a much more wintry climate. And it has given me some thoughts on, I suppose, what I'm missing in my winter wardrobe here, what I could do with sort of as a long-term list. And also, I actually managed to pack a capsule wardrobe for this, so it's also a bit of a review of how that went. So I filmed a video before I went of what I took, so I'm going to show you that now, and then we'll talk through a little bit more about my wardrobe heroes, my wardrobe staples, what didn't really work or get worn, and some thoughts about winter wardrobes more generally. As we look ahead, obviously I'm now sewing for spring and summer, but winter makes do take longer, so there's some I'm working on now so that they're ready for like September. Anyway, let's have a watch of what I took with me and then we will reconvene.
Okay, so little rundown of what I am taking with me. As you can see, it pretty much all goes. I'm going to move this in a bit for the sake of cameras. There we go. It's easier. So what I'm trying to do is, because it's only a weekend, is I want a bit of a capsule wardrobe. So what I'm going with is Tammy had made Mila. It's a lightweight knit, very cozy, but layerable, so it can go under my True Bias Marlowe cardigan, for example, which is over there. I've brought a sparkly skirt to go out for dinner for my birthday. Jeans, because why not? Closet Cleopatra trousers. They're wide leg, a bit of a different silhouette, very comfortable, massive pockets. That stuff over there isn't coming. So 2 hats, because I often take one and then it doesn't go with everything. So I have a sort of burgundy one that's the same colour as my trousers, or a white one. Scarf, gloves, fine. So True Bias Marlowe, long sleeve white top, long sleeve black top. My favourite stripy white top I've had for an embarrassing amount of time. And my new Cashmerettes Carlisle t-shirt. Homemade pyjamas, homemade dressing gown. This is the Tammy handmade Hayley robe. This is a simplicity pattern. It's, oh God, it's whatever one I've put in my most recent video. I'll link it below. I've been using it for years. This fabric's beautiful though. It's from Sew a few years ago. And then I've got black cashmere jumper, because whenever you go somewhere very, very cold, it's a good idea to have a cashmere jumper because they retain so much more heat than your standard acrylic jumper. And they don't make you sweat either. You're like cozy, but not uncomfortable. So on top of all of this will be, I have a blue puffy down jacket. It's going to be freezing. So it's bright blue, which helps. It's not like navy. And I tend to find bright blue goes well with this range. I tried my bright blue coat with these trousers and it actually did look really cool. So bright blue coat and my black boots are coming with me, and they're thick rubber tread, not too high, but a tiny bit of a heel, but not enough that's, you know, like I wear heels every day, I'll be fine. But yeah, a good like a boot for if it gets icy. And I've brought loads of boot socks. I'm going to bring a couple of pairs of tights just in case I get cold, so I've got something to put like as a layer underneath. And yeah, so it's going to be nice. I'm excited. I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit nervous, because I've never packed a capsule wardrobe like that, like in quite this way before, where everything kind of can be worn with everything else. That's the idea. So fingers crossed it all works out. Let's get it in the suitcase and then off we go.
So it was a wonderful trip. I had an absolutely blissful birthday. I had a great time. Thank you all, by the way, for your lovely birthday comments on my video that came out while I was away. It was really fun. It was very cold. It actually wasn't as cold as it was here because it was like -7 while we were away, but it snowed quite heavily. And I always think that changes the type of cold. Like it can be sort of bitterly cold, but being hit in the face by snow constantly definitely sort of changes your mood. I am a proper winter baby. I love it. I love the snow, and that's actually why we picked to go to Prague, is because I wanted some snow. So it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. And my wardrobe did pretty well, actually. It's the first time I've packed like a capsule wardrobe where everything goes with everything else. And it genuinely went very well. There are some learnings. So I'm going to move from the specific to the general. So I'm going to do this. Quite a quick video today, but I'll probably ramble on, so bear with me. Wardrobe specifics. My wardrobe hero, and it's not what I expected. It is my purple trousers, but it was for flying. So I wore them on the plane, and oh my God. So for reference, I hurt my knee when I was like 16, and it's better now. Like, I can do pretty much everything. It's a little weaker than the other one, but it's fine. But on planes, I often get like a sort of ache in my knee afterwards. I'm quite used to it, but I found actually that wearing looser trousers really helps, because I suppose, you know, you swell and everything in the air. And those trousers were just beyond comfortable. They were brilliant for the airport as well. Nice big pockets, just so easy to sort of fling on, and they were really comfy considering they're still denim. They didn't look like pajamas, like it looked quite chic still, but incredibly comfortable. So I would 100% recommend the wide leg Pietras as a airplane outfit, particularly if you're looking for a long haul outfit. That might be the way to go. They were really good on the trip as well, but I definitely could have done with leggings under them, because they are a wide leg. There's space for a draft to come up the leg, and when it was snowing, my ankles were a bit cold, so I took tights, but I think I could have done with a pair of like thin, like either much thicker tights or like footless tights, or thinner leggings underneath them. But big fan, love the size of the pockets. And yeah, they were quite the hero. I really enjoyed wearing them. Wardrobe staple for the trip. Every day pretty much I wore my True Bias Marlow cardigan in some way or another. I wore it with my trousers sort of tucked in. I wore it just over jeans and a t-shirt, well, a long sleeve t-shirt. I had it on the whole time, and it was really cozy, and it was nice actually because we were going in and out of a lot of places, so it was nice to have a layer. So I could wear like a long sleeve top, cardigan, and then my down fluffy coat, but it was nice having that in between layer. I don't layer very much in the UK because I run very warm, so I generally fling a coat on and then I'll just take it off and I'm fine in a t-shirt or a jumper like this. But I was literally wearing like t-shirt, jumper, cardigan, coat because it was cold. But that worked really well actually. It was really nice. So I'd say that was my staple for the trip. What didn't work, I don't necessarily think it's something I can make, or maybe it's something I need to look at finding a pattern that works. I needed more high-necked stuff. Now, the thing is, some people, when I talk about this, will be like, oh, well, you're not used to the cold. I grew up in Scotland, and our winters are much colder than down here. I'm based like Bucks near London. So what I grew up with, when it was cold, you just layered up. And like the jumper I'm wearing right now, this is actually new. I got it. I always get a new jumper when I get a new hair colour, because I want to make sure I have like a hero jumper that goes, and I kind of love a dark hair with a bright red jumper. It's kind of nice. But I needed more high neck stuff like this. A lot of the stuff I took, like my long sleeve tops, everything, they were either boat neck or quite low neck. And it's just, I'm asthmatic as well. I need to keep this bit cold hot, more than I ever did before. So I think I don't want to make the Tilly and the Buttons, is it the Freya? Because her patterns just don't work for me, and I really don't want to spend all that time creating bust room when I just don't think it's worth it. But I am going to have a look. If you've got any recommendations for patterns for a larger bust that do like a sort of high neck, like a polo neck, or like a tighter t-shirt or anything like that, do let me know, because it is something I would like. I also realised that when it's cold, I'm not used to still trying to be stylish. Again, growing up, and even now when I do go up to Scotland and it's much colder, I kind of just put a fleece on for a week. I just put like nothing stylish about it. I just put on a proper like polo fleece, like the kind you're meant to wear when it's cold. I fling that on jeans and walking boots, and that's all I wear. So it was interesting thinking about trying to look stylish while exceptionally cold. I wore a lot of cashmere jumpers. I say a lot. I wore the two I have a lot of the time, because they're nice and thin as well, but they're really like efficient and warm. So I don't know if I need to think about other things I could make that would allow me to like be a bit more efficient. So whether I make myself a jumper like this but in sweatshirting, or I make myself tops that are a bit more polo neck that I can wear something else over, because not for a minute am I going to start knitting. I'm not making jumpers, it's not happening. I'm not good at knitting and I really don't enjoy it. But if there's stuff I could wear under jumpers or under the cardigans I already have, or if I could make maybe another true bias Marlowe but in a much thicker fabric, or you know, some stuff like that. So I'm having a think about it. And again, on the similar line, I need more jersey me-mades. A lot of my me-mades are summer, spring, autumn, but they're woven fabrics. I've always preferred sewing with woven fabrics. It's fun, it's a bit more complex, like I enjoyed it. But with jersey, I do have an overlocker. It takes 5 minutes. Whether I make a few bits just to have them in my wardrobe so that I can wear them when it's cold, then I don't know, maybe that's an idea. But I need to find more jersey patterns I like. So right now I'm wearing the McCall's 8085, which if I stand up, it's this dress. You might have seen it on my Instagram. It's long sleeved. It goes all the way down to the floor, or pretty much it's midi length. I'll put a photo of it on screen now. But this is made of like a nice sort of, it's a standard jersey. It's really cozy. It's really soft. It's a nice style. I'll be able to wear it in the summer as well. And it has pockets. Woo! But right now, like this morning, it was really cold in the house and this is what I reached for. So maybe I need to, that pattern actually has got some versatility in it. So I was thinking about making one of these in like a black, like a viscose jersey or something as well. So maybe I'll show you the pattern actually, because some of you might have it free from Love Sewing. It's this one. So I might make a couple more of these, just to have in my wardrobe, because if I make sure they're very different from each other, then it's a good base layer to have. And again, I could have worn something like this with leggings or thick tights underneath, or thermal tights, and that would have done really well and I still would have looked kind of stylish. But overall, pretty successful capsule wardrobe, I have to say. Like, at no point on the trip did I go, oh, I have nothing to wear. I even took my sparkly sequin skirt from New Year's for my birthday, which it was really fun, so I could go out in that. And actually, I don't know whether it's sheer bloody mindedness, but I wasn't cold then. I went out, we went out for dinner and I wore boots, tights, sequin mini, cashmere jumper on top, and I was fine actually with my legs out. But I don't know, again, my core was so warm. Sometimes I just need this, like my chest, to be incredibly warm, and then the rest of me's fine. Because I will say, on days when some of my colleagues are like wrapped up in 3 layers, I'll be wearing like a big thick jumper, but like an A-line mini and 20 denier tights. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm weird, who can say? But I am really proud actually, like, and I sat down before to think about, like I planned it as a capsule wardrobe, and I was like, right, I'm gonna take 2 pairs of trousers. What can I take that goes with both of these? Do these tops go with both sets of trousers? Like, what layer can I, you know, and I actually did plan it like that. So it went well. It was a wonderful trip. I had a great time, but it made me think some other stuff about my actual winter me made wardrobe as a whole. So here are my lessons. I'm going to start, a couple of them I've already sort of mentioned. So different silhouettes. So again, thinking about the fact in the winter, I need a higher neck, or I need different sleeves, or I need, because I'll be wearing lots of coats, maybe I need a slightly different waist definition or a slightly different fit so that I still feel myself, even though I'm wrapped up to the nines. Because I know for me, I'm not a big one for the sort of the floaty buffet dress vibe. I can do them if they're very short, like my McCall's 8090 that I wear on like every holiday. But I'm not a big one for big loose flowy dresses, because honestly they make me look a bit pregnant. They come off my bust and then hang in front, and it's just not a great vibe for me. But in the winter I'm all muffled up and sometimes I feel like a kid, because I'm quite short, I've got a big puffy coat on, I've got lots of layers, I'm sort of, I don't know, I don't feel myself. So thinking about what I can do to make me feel still stylish and still fun, and whether it's playing with silhouettes a little bit, playing with some trousers, thinking about I mean, I do have the fabric to make myself a coat. It's on my make line for this year. I am going to do it. But think about how I can make some outerwear as well that goes with the rest of my wardrobe. Because I don't know if I'm the only one who gets this. Let me know in the comments if I'm not. But you put a beautiful outfit together in the winter and you're like, oh, I love it so much. And it's freezing. So then you put a big like bright blue waterproof coat over the top. And then you're like, ruined in terms of my outfit. But I'm incredibly warm, so I don't care. Now, obviously, warmth and health and everything has to take priority. I'm not saying for a second it doesn't. But it would be nice to have something in my wardrobe that bridged the gap. Particularly as... I'm going to talk about this a little bit more next week, but my beautiful Eden coat has succumbed to the mould problem in this house, and because it is waxed cotton, I cannot wash it because it'll just take all the wax off, and I cannot re-wax it. Like, I am not that person. So it might have to be consigned to the great sort of toile heaven, and I make myself another one out of a slightly more robust fabric. I'm thinking maybe like soft shell or something. I don't know, not sure. I loved having a wax jacket. And I'm still looking into ways that I can clean it and remove the mould and that kind of stuff. But whether I make one of those in a slightly different style so that it sort of goes with everything a bit more, I don't know. But it is that thinking about different silhouettes, thinking about outerwear is quite inspiring. Like, I'm quite excited of what I could do with it. But what I want to do is get my whole wardrobe out, pretty much like my winter wardrobe, lay it out and see what kind of coat I need. So the Alex coat, I definitely need a sort of mid-length duster coat. I love that. It's really fun. Make sure I've got scarves that go with it and stuff. Brilliant. I'd quite like a trench coat, now I think about it, because you can still belt in the waist, which I really like. But then also thinking about whether I want to make myself a puffer coat and like a black one, because I have a down coat for when it's really cold, and that's blue. It's bright blue. I love it. You'll see it in all my Prague photos. It's so cozy and like it's so light, like you feel like you're not wearing anything, but you're so warm. I love it. I love it so much. I need like more of a shell, like a down shell type scenario that's a bit thinner, of like black, just because the base colour of my wardrobe's black, so it's going to go a bit better. So you might see that on next year's Make 9. You might see me randomly make it this year. But those are some of the thoughts I'm having around sort of outerwear and silhouettes. On a similar note, I've come to the conclusion that I need to prioritise fabric makeup in the winter. So, or fabric content, the other word is escaping me. Composition, there we go, fabric composition. Because it's all well and good making cute jumpers and cute tops and cute sweatshirts in like autumn where it's not that cold and you're like, oh, this is so nice. And then you wear them in the winter and you realise that actually they're polyester or they're acrylic or they're a mix or they're mostly viscose, but they're not actually warm. Which is why my Tammy handmade Mila jumper didn't actually get worn in Prague. I wear it around the house all the time. I wore it loads when I made it when did I make it? November, December? I wore it all the time, and I have no doubt that come March, I will start wearing it again all the time. But it was not a thick enough layer, and the fabric is not efficient enough to keep me warm. So thinking about the fact that like since I repaired the sleeves on my Ilford and put poppers on them, that Ilford is 100% wool. And when I wear it out, little bit scratchy, but incredibly warm. When you put it on, it's so thin, but it really just keeps me cozy. So thinking about the fabrics I use, so whether if I am making some base layers, I really prioritise making that out of like a bamboo jersey or something. If I am making coats, trying to make sure I'm using a wool blend where I can afford it, obviously. And thinking about that also, trying when I'm making floaty blouses and stuff, if, again, massive if, because sewing is so financially loaded with like your fabric choice costs so much more if you want to go this way versus that way. But I would really like to make myself a couple of silk blouses because they're so warm in the winter. And it sounds so silly, but silk as an underlayer is, again, it's incredibly efficient. So it's something that, because I don't like wearing many layers, and when I'm running around for work, as soon as I wear something polyester, it just sticks to me, and I don't like it at all. So thinking about things like that, really, like thinking about when it does get really cold, or conversely, incredibly hot, thinking about the fabric composition and what you're using, and particularly what I'm using for my wardrobe, and making sure that my summer clothes actually work when it's 30 degrees and then my winter clothes work when it's -8, because I need them to do both. So now I've sort of progressed through my sewing. I started with, I want to make things, and then I was like, ooh, cool dresses, and I want to make stuff. And I'm going to start using different fabrics, and now I'm sort of slightly more circumspect about what I make. Yes, there will always be stuff I just trot out because I go, do you know what? I want that. I'm going to make it. Done. But for the bigger, more expensive pieces in my wardrobe, things like outerwear, things as well that take space to actually, like, once you've got them, to store, I want to be a bit better about thinking about the composition, particularly for next winter, and making sure I have a really cozy me-made wardrobe. And the final thing is, I'm not very good at layering. I've got better this year. I don't know if you guys who follow me on Instagram have noticed. I've been doing a lot where I wear a dress and I try and layer it with a jumper, or I'm like trying to layer cardigans over stuff. Like, I am really trying, because I want to make sure that my wardrobe isn't strictly summer winter. Some of it will be, my shorts for example, but it has given a lot of my wardrobe a whole new lease of life, wearing it in the winter layered with stuff. So thinking about that, also thinking about, yeah, trousers. I wear a lot of dresses because that's how I feel comfortable. I just like it. I like dresses, I like skirts. I like trousers, but I'm a skinny jeans girl, really, sort of emotionally, or a nice wide leg trouser. But I'm trying to think about what sorts of trousers I could wear in the winter that are, like, thinking about fabrics that are cozy, that'll keep me warm, while still looking nice, looking smart, looking, you know, like how I want them to look. So a small sort of ongoing project, that one, I would say, but we'll get there at some point. We just need to think about what. I'm going to do some Pinterest searching and sort of get some inspiration, see what's out there. But I think those are my sort of lessons from my winter wardrobe this year. One question that came from Instagram that I'm going to answer here. I don't generally sew for the season we're in, except in the summer, because I am a very speedy sewist, as some of you will have noticed. It either takes me weeks or it takes me hours. And when I really want to do something, it will just happen. So sometimes I sew for the season we're in, but more often than not, like right now, I'm still sewing my blazer, which, to be brutally honest, I will probably launch in February. That's what I'm hoping to do, because there's a few bits on it that I'm banging my head off a wall at the moment, but that's fine. But I'll wear it February, March, and then I'll probably do whatever adjustments I need to do to it, and then start wearing it properly in September, sort of like a soft opening, then wearing it properly. So I do sew ahead, but it kind of depends what, do you know what it is? It depends what it is, and it depends how much, brutally honest, it depends how much space the fabric is taking up in the sewing room as well, as to when it needs to go and become something else, or at least be cut up so it's not sat in a huge bundle. That is a bigger part of my planning than I think a lot of people realise. I have to be very space conscious, so stuff like that, sometimes I'm like, I now have to make this because I don't have room to store it. So that's fun. It's like my blazer is, if I turn you guys, it's on the mannequin because I'm working on it, but it's also on the mannequin because that's where it has to be stored, because it's too bulky really to fit in the project envelope with all of the other pattern pieces for it that aren't made up yet. I am going to do some work on it, I think, this weekend on Sunday, so I'm quite excited. But yeah, so do I sew a season ahead? A mix. Big projects, yes. Little projects, no. So that was a nice little catch up today, actually. It was lovely to see you all. I hope you enjoy the new Monday release date. That's probably my little PSA. I'm now moving to Mondays because it actually gives me time to film at the weekends, which is lovely. And that means it's more likely I'll be able to bring out something consistently on a Monday. But also, most of you said, or like 200 odd of you said, that Mondays were a better day for you. So Please, please, please give this a love. YouTube hates it when you change day and decides to hide you from everyone. So even if you don't normally, if you could just give it a little like, maybe comment, let me know if you enjoyed it. And I look forward to seeing you next Monday for a February Sews catch up. We're going to talk about my projects for February. We're going to talk about my graduation, which will have happened. I can share photos finally. I'm making some adjustments to my graduation outfit as we speak. And what else to talk about next week? I've got some fabric arriving from Rainbow Fabrics Kilburn. Not in any way sponsored. I did a little haul for my birthday. I was like, I'm gonna be really good, and not. And then I did. I got really tempted, guys. But I'm excited to show you what I got. So until then, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time.